Дивіться, пане. Дуже гарний. Ух ты! Какой Скрепы-то закончились у тебя. Скрепы закончились. Да. Ой, спасибо. Ничего не слышишь. Все, хорошо. сожалению, каждый сам по себе, да. А может, не к сожалению. Это я так думаю. Шпичмак. Консервы взял. Консервы. Ё. Это хорошо. Когда девушка как света безопасно. Да, понял тебя. Да. Вот и все. Я тебе говорю, работа, труд, вот он искупает все, понимаешь? Не понимаешь? Вот это... Ну, по-любому просто. Да, наверное, как ты здесь, да, наверное, что-то новое сделать этому миру неожиданное, наверное. Можно так, потом ракурс какой-то там, что-то типа того, да. То есть по-мужски. То есть, да, реально, да, понимаю. То есть женщины так не могут, и им это не надо, и вообще никак не надо, и всяк-то им тоже не надо. Понятно. Но они хорошие, они, наверное, залог безопасности, да, правила послушания, да, понимаю, много такого всего. Я ж гуглил, конечно. Да. Чего? Что такое вообще? Что такое? Ну что ты решил? Вот это что понял. Вот это он не видит, да. Тоже так точно. Да, понимаю. Да. Нормально. Это все так. Нормально. Так прикольно, смотри, Африка, как вот деревня удмуртская выглядит, наоборот. Как деревня Удмуртии выглядит. Загоревшие, не, ну ладно. Нет, там реально хорошо, да. Ладно.
Well, warm welcome to today's talk. It's Thursday, the 27th of January today. Now, in a minute, we're going to go to a special report from Africa from these two gentlemen here, from Wafafa and Dr. Machacha. But before we do that, I'm just going to give you a bit of a rundown of the main points. So this is good news. So the interview with Wafafa and Dr. Machacha. Regional COVID medical. So Dr. Machacha works at the Regional COVID Medical Centre, so has been seeing a lot of patients. They've managed hundreds of patients. He's personally taken charge of the care of 78 patients, so he's pretty well experienced. Now, the age of patients he's got coming in mostly to his clinic or his hospital are 45 to 65 years of age. He's had no patients under the age of 25 and certainly no children in. And this is not just his personal experience, this is the whole centre. So in the medical centre where they've seen hundreds of patients come in, they've had no children admitted at all. And that includes the previous Delta wave as well as the current Omicron wave. So that's pretty good news really for the African situation of children, which is one of the things we were really quite concerned about. Most of the patients admitted have got comorbidities, obesity being the most common, then diabetes mellitus, then hypertension, and then asthma. Critically ill patients have been older with comorbidities. So they saw quite a few critically ill patients with Delta, very few with Omicron. But the ones they have seen have been in the older age groups with comorbidities. Omicron patients are less ill compared to Delta, so the patients are getting now are less ill. The severity has really changed, he says. It's much less severe now. Delta was a dangerous variant, but now 90% of the patients only have mild disease. They have a mild cough, influenza type symptoms, and actually a loss of the sense of smell. The hospital actually has some free beds, so there were some delegated beds for COVID, and some of those are free. About 70% are now free. So really, this is incredibly good news from Africa, because we were so concerned about the lack of facilities. And there is a lack of facilities, but even the meagre facilities they have are being underused, which is really incredible.
Точки соприкосновения, иначе останешься без денег, без всего. То есть, иначе ты сам себя не найдешь. И останешься как бы сумасшедшим будешь. То есть, как бы, будешь какие-то вещи делать, которые вообще никакого смысла не имеют. Ну, да, я понимаю. Ну, или будешь, типа, ну, понимаешь, там тебя, да. Да. То есть, в буквальном смысле это травмоопасно и неуживаемо точно. Да. Либо какой-то баланс искать, либо, как бы, да, то есть, твоя штука, а как ты этого достигнешь? Например, как вариант, да. Да. Своих, да. И что тебе именно из этого надо, да, понимаешь? Да. Потому что ты, да, она поняла тебя уже, да, наоборот. Ну хорошо, ладно, я понял вас.
Incredibly good news. So, yeah, hospitals free, but 70% free beds. They've hardly needed any oxygen this time in the Omicron wave, which is good. They now have enough oxygen, whereas oxygen supplies were really stretched with the Delta.
Да, и ты можешь как бы вообще с нуля начать, но туда пахать, прикинь, какой, ну да, типа того, надо иметь в виду. Без денег только тогда. Ну хорошо, ладно, понял. Ну да. Ну я стараюсь, значит, я не думал, пока еще не понимаю. Ну это и есть, ну вот наподобие. Ну хорошо, какие более короткие? А зачем мне от этого отказываться? То есть зачем мне... Ну, это имеет в виду, да, ну понимаешь, ну и много, и дальше, и да, понимаю, то есть как бы позволяется на себе жить, да, то есть, наверное,
There's only been 3 patients, so since the end of December, there's only been 3 patients that needed oxygen. So only 3 oxygenated patients, and I suspect they have comorbidities as well. Normally, when patients are admitted, their oxygen saturations are above 90%, you know, with the oxygen saturation growth on your finger, and few have needed ITU support. The treatments that have been offered generally over both waves, oxygen if needed, dexamethasone, erythromycin, and vitamin D, and sometimes vitamin D and zinc, and vitamin C, although there's debate about vitamin C, as we'll see. They also use local remedies. Now, one of the things I like about Dr. Machacha is his humility. He's prepared to accept local remedies. He knows that very often there is no strong evidence base. Sometimes he believes they're helpful, other times he believes they're not. Personally, doing some work with herbal medicine in Kenya, I have seen some results from herbal medicines that are used locally that look impressive. I've never had the time to go back and do the full clinical trials. I wish someone would, because I think we're missing out on a trick here with African herbal medicine. So he agrees sometimes it's useful, other times it's not. Sunbathing, he says, is well and good. Treatment for Omicron is the same as for Delta. He hasn't changed his treatment strategies. It's just that it's less severe. He's not giving steroids early. He waits till the patient becomes septic with a cytokine storm before giving steroids, which makes perfect sense to me. Cases in Uganda are down with absolutely minimal testing. Just a few hundred tests a day, really. A few thousand tests a day and a few hundred positives, just because of the resources aren't there. Most symptomatic patients are not tested, he believes. Now, of course, we can't prove this, but in his clinical judgment, a lot of patients have been symptomatic lately. But most symptomatic patients are simply not tested. So a lot of this is clinical diagnosis. And he estimates, and again, it is an estimate, about 50% of infected people are going to be asymptomatic. Again, he can't prove that because he hasn't got the testing facility to do it. He says this is interesting. The Omicron variant is the vaccine we failed to make. He believes Omicron infection will fight any other kind of COVID-19 that comes along. Herd immunity, he believes, is likely. There's also cross immunity, especially from viruses with similar genomes. Natural immunity is often the norm in Uganda, although they do have vaccination programs for essential things, of course. And with great humility, he says, I don't rule out the hand of God. Sick Delta patients would have been a catastrophe. So Omicron has saved him from looking after many dying Delta patients. And he has a great sense of humility about that, which I admire. He does say something is happening we cannot explain. Were that all doctors had that level of humility, unlike some others that could be mentioned, or some other politicians that could be mentioned. But without me getting started, without further ado, let's go straight on to the interview. Do try and stick through it. It's absolutely excellent. So here we go, and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Hello guys, welcome to today's COVID-19 update. I'm with Fafa Andrew and I'm here with the Dr. Ivan Machacha Munao. Yes, and he's one of the doctors at the treatment center here in Uganda. So previously I worked with COVID-19 in a quarantine center, but then they closed the quarantine centers and I also got so busy with the community work, so I no longer interact with the COVID-19 patients. But today I got a chance of interacting with one of the doctors who is managing patients right now at the hospital. Since I'm away, there are some questions that I cannot give accurate information apart from giving general information. So we wanted to be a bit specific and get answers from the person who is dealing with the patients right now. So I'm going to be asking him about 10 questions that will help us understand the COVID-19 situation in Uganda and in Bali, where he is facing. So, Doctor, I'm going to ask you some few questions for our viewers who are watching from different parts of the world, and we would like you to give us some responses that will give us an understanding. You started managing COVID-19 patients here. How many patients have you managed personally?
Well, I think personally I started working with COVID patients this year when we got the second wave in Uganda. That was around the late May to June. And I think I so far seen around, personally, me as a person, I've seen around 78 patients.
78 patients.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's great. So, in the patients that you've been seeing, when you look at the patients that you've been seeing, or if you recall the patients that you've been seeing, which age group are you seeing most?
The most age group I've come across during the process of treating COVID-19 patients has been around 45 to 65 years. And I'm not sure of all the patients I've seen. I've not come across a person below 25 years.
Yeah,
I've not seen a child.
Okay, so you've not seen children being admitted with the COVID-19 and going into the isolation rooms in those treatment centers. Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. The third question is, are people being admitted most with comorbidities, or they're just normal people?
Well, definitely, it has been the patient with comorbidities that were admitted most. And the highest on the list is when we got the Delta wave, was obesity. Obesity, followed by diabetes mellitus, the Delta.
Comorbidities, or they're just normal people?
Well, definitely, it has been the patient with comorbidities that were admitted most. And the highest on the list is when we got the Delta wave, was obesity. Obesity, followed by diabetes mellitus and hypertensive patients.
Okay.
Those are the three commonest conditions that most of the patients we were taking to ICU, high dependency unit or HD, have been having those three conditions. However, the others like asthma, rheumatics have come across them.
Yes.
So in other words, we have had patients mostly critically ill have been those with comorbidities.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much. So, even the old people that have been admitted, most of them have been with the comorbidities.
Yes.
So there's a proportion maybe of those ones also who don't have them, but they will be low.
Low, yeah, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. So another question. Since you started managing these cases, I understand in the second wave, that was when there was Delta still, right?
Yes.
And now we have the Omicron variant.
Yes.
Have you noticed a change in severity of the?
Has really changed. Right now we're having
Просто долгий диктант, так, музыка есть на самом. Так он очень простые есть упражнения на ритм. Вам понял, да. Ну не надо тогда. Да. Вон ты штука, я тоже. Он понял тебя, по себе говорит. Ну не надо тогда. Ну это есть на самом. Понимаешь, эмоции, они всегда, может вообще, жизнь, она вообще так вот, сама по себе. Такая вот, да. Да, но зачем-то вот все образовалось, вот она такая была и все. Значит, она не такая все-таки. Что-то здесь не хватает, да, это не такая вот и все. Да. Какое-то время еще идет вперед. Значит, эволюция какая-то, да. Ну ладно. Не кстати. Да. Ась, да. Да. Зачем я это? Что показать? Да наоборот, да наоборот. Ты делать это не будете. Тоже могу бы так сидеть и угадать сам.
90% of our patients having no symptoms, or have mild symptoms. In other words, the Delta variant was miss, was a really dangerous variant. But right now, what we're having is best.
Ну, что, видишь, что ли? Ну, это его самое, ну, я понял.
Treating asymptomatic patients or patients who come with mild cough,
Yes.
mild flu, or mild maybe loss of some kind of loss of appetite or loss of smell. In other words, we have not really admitted many now high intensive units or intensive care units.
So that means as I talk, your treatment center or the intensive care units for COVID-19 patients, they are not overwhelmed.
I know we are not overwhelmed.
That means, should I say that if we were to go right now, you can be able to find some free beds, though the patients won't stay?
Yes, majority of the beds are actually free.
Okay.
Yes, we have a few beds occupied with a few patients, but I think 70% of our beds are free.
Okay.
Since most of our patients are meeting, we're treating them as outpatient cases because of the severity which is low.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good sign, and that is good news for all of us. So you say that most people, very few people have been admitted right now. So that means
Всего. Не очень. Проверять надо. Что проверять? Ну, ну нет, неправильно все делаем. Ну это да. Почему не говорит о нем? О чем вы говорите? Ну, так а зачем? Какой тебе интерес? Да. Но это меня не касается, потому что здесь он как бы... По идее, можно, если ты... Да, что-то такое. Если ты играешь на гитаре и орешь песни, никто тебя соответственно проверять не будет. И что там есть что проверять вообще. Так что ничего не переживай. Это свой там переводы просто, да. А деньги уже можешь получать, да. Да, понимаешь, да. Не знаю, что ты сам. Наверное, более даже. Но это тоже не есть 100%. Да, музыкальных. Да. Я очень, ну, понимаешь, да. Ну, хорошо, да, потом. Да. Ничего страшного, не ладно, ты.
Even the need for oxygen, when you try to compare now and in the previous wave, and in the previous time when we had the other variant, Delta variant, even the need for beds and oxygen also has reduced.
Yes, actually,
Is the oxygen supply enough currently?
Actually, we have enough oxygen supply, but in relation to the number of patients we have with oxygen support or the therapy, but actually, since we first had the first case of microvirus in this country around late December,
yes,
I think I've only seen 3 patients so far, around 3 to 4 patients who have come in severe conditions that need oxygen therapy. Otherwise, of course, a critically ill patient.
I believe there is now herd immunity.
Ну да. А что ты сама? Вот чем, ну ладно, кстати. Чтобы женщина не беспокоила, их надо беременеть. После свадьбы тогда. Женщина сейчас не касается. Значит, в том числе. Ну, то есть, ну, во случае, если так всю жизнь можно заниматься только это хорошо. Только это сложно, и только это имеет смысл, и только это уважение, и только это достижение, и только это невиданное, и только это все эволюционно, ну это не надо. Ну, чтобы не умереть. А таланта своего, что не знаешь, чего. Ну ладно, не важно. Отвлекся. Нет на таланта, да. Знать свое место. Наверное, не знаю. От своих количеств. Да. Да. Ну да. Да. Ну, не значит, нет, и это значит плохо, хорошо. Эмоции, как вечно детский сад, это хорошо, и все выживают. За чей счет, это неизвестно, если вы больше. Ну, понятно, да. Долги, ладно, поехали. Чем? Я не понимаю. Я понимаю, что если ты потребляешь, то есть давай противно смотри. Ты только потребляешь, например. Представь себе, что ты только потребляешь. Ну, да, не важно, что компьютерные игры. Вот только потребляешь и все. Да. Все, остальное, да, и ничего больше. Нормально, это же другое. Это уже работает. Надо деньги уже все равно ты владеешь много всего. Долго это уже мужская тема, знаешь. Придется, по-моему, на свет поговорить. И понять, что их тоже кто-то производит. А мечты их нравятся. Все то же самое. Все, баденьки, гулянушки. Гулянушечки, порастюшечки. Порастюшечки. какой-то опыт на фигню. Ага, ну да. Вот это. Ильи. Смотрите, делают, да? Summer wind. Mm-hmm.